Order the CRA board meeting. All board members are here except Miss Cindy. John, I'm going to throw it right to you.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first item on our agenda this evening is the Governing Board business approval of the minutes.
Sorry, I could have thrown that. I'll take it. I'll take a motion for the approval of minutes. I'm sorry. I was
so moved.
Second.
Any changes? Anything? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
All righty. Now I'll throw it to you. Sorry.
Not a problem. Second item on our agenda is Resolution 10416, the proposed Oviedo CRA fiscal year 2016-2017 budget. This is a request for the CRA Governing Board to approve the fiscal year 2016-2017 CRA budget. At this June 6th meeting, the CRA Governing Board identified following projects for inclusion in the budget: administrative functions and operations of the CRA, land use and urban form, business development and grant programs, and redevelopment, cultural, and historic preservation programs. The subtotal of the projects was $312,000 with a contingency fund of approximately $59,000. The requested motion is to approve the resolution 104.16.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Make a motion to adopt Resolution 104-16.
Second.
It's yours. Go ahead, Mr. Mayor. Any
John,
discussion?
I have a quick question on it. We discussed this at the last meeting. It seems to be just about exactly what we discussed. It's trail improvements within the CRA and the trail loop, the right-of-way acquisition. Which loop is that?
That would be the loop. We'll be completing the loop. Let's see. We just have in our redevelopment plan, we have the trail loop, 25-foot right-of-way, 20-foot right-of-way width. Check the footnote on it.
Because there were trail loops that were at one point designed to go through the wetlands, I guess it would have been, up to the historic district. And then there were trail loops that were designed to do 434, Oviedo Boulevard, and so on and so forth.
The trail loop configuration has not been finalized by city staff yet.
Okay.
It's a set-aside item for that.
All righty. So that's the original downtown master plan from 2004-ish, 3-ish has them. So we're just kind of working off of that thumb sketch right now. So that could be the trail through the wetland area, or it could be the loop trail, but it's to finalize the vision of tying the new to historic.
Correct. The final alignment has not been set.
Okay. So it's just a set aside right now. All right. Thank you.
Steve, or whoever seconded.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Keith, I'm good. Dave.
At the last meeting, as part of the motion to approve the budget, which we agreed to, was that we have no expenditures without items coming back to the CRA board. I just want to make sure that's part of what we're doing here. And forgive me if I don't know that's protocol already. But I just want to make sure that carries forward to this adoption.
Yes, sir. Mr. Axel, this is the implementation of that requested action from the last meeting.
Okay.
Each one of these resolutions that come up addresses the agenda or addresses the budget items that we talked about.
Okay, so we're not going to, as the mayor points out, we're not sure what this trail loop is. There won't be any expenditures till it comes back to us.
Correct. You will,
All right,
you will
thank
have
you.
a detailed
So I wanted to
report
know.
when it comes back.
Tim, sorry. Okay, I've got nothing.
How about Tim?
I said Tim.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I got him.
I'm just checking.
That's okay. I appreciate it. The motion is to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So moved.
Very good. The next item
Moving on to
on
item 3.
next item on the agenda, item number 3, Resolution 105-16, the Little John Administrative Scope of Services. This is a request for the CRA Governing Board to approve the scope of services for the administration of the Oviedo Community Redevelopment Agency. At the June 6th CRA Board meeting, this item was identified to be approved in the 2016-2017 budget. The requested action is approval of Resolution 105-16 for administrative scope of services.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
make a motion to adopt 105-16.
Second. All right, second. Mr. Mayor?
Nothing, we vetted this at the last meeting, I believe.
Mr. Henkin?
Yes, sir. Good.
Ms. Britton?
Good.
Mr. Slaughter? You
Good.
the same way? And you, Dave, Mr. Axel? Okay. Again, we talked about it last time, I agree. So all those in favor, say approving Resolution 105-16, say aye.
Aye.
Against?
Very good. The
Passes.
next item on the agenda, item number 4, is Resolution 106-16 regarding alternate CRA Governing Board meetings. This is a request for the CRA Governing Board to approve an alternate meeting schedule for the Oviedo Community Redevelopment Agency Governing Board. At the June 6th workshop, the CRA Governing Board decided to evaluate alternate meeting dates for consideration due to the increasing CRA agenda load and the increasing complexity and number of projects. We looked at 2 potential alternate schedules, one being the first Thursday of every other month at 6 p.m., and option 2 being the third Thursday at every other month at 6 p.m. Let's see. Option number 1, option number 1 had the fewer number of multiple meetings occurring during that year-long period than option number 2. The different meetings that were looked at were the city council meetings, the P&Z meetings, the VOA meetings, and a length of other meetings. And option number 1 had 2 fewer consecutive meeting nights than option number 2. So it is recommended that the CRA Governing Board adopt Resolution 106-16 that would provide for option number 1, the first Thursday of every other month for the CRA meetings at 6 p.m. Please note this also increases the number of CRA meetings from 4 per year to 6 per year.
Okay.
And if option number 1 is adopted, the first meeting would be on November 3rd.
What's the pleasure?
I'll make a motion to adopt 106-16.
Second.
Mr. Mayor? Any discussion? Or
The only one I'm concerned about is January 5th, right after the holiday. Are we going to have staff available? Is everyone going to be back in town, back to work?
Okay.
So I would just put a question mark by that one, and we'll take a look at that as we get closer. We may want to push that one off.
Understood, sir.
Mr. Axel?
No comments?
Mr. Slaughter?
Any reason why we can't meet earlier than 6?
No, sir.
Mr. Britton, that's usually troublesome for you, or is that
5:30?
right?
That good?
5:30 better? I think for the public and for Mr. and getting everybody else here, 5:30 is probably.
What I see here, how many of those months is there a council meeting, John?
There's a council meeting every month.
Every month, 2 a month.
Yes, sir.
How many of, you've got these meetings listed here, first Thursday, how many of those weeks have a council meeting?
Every one of those has a council meeting.
So, okay.
Either one.
What that does to me is that usually Calno is the first Wednesday of every month,
Right.
so I'll be here 3 nights
Yes,
in a
sir.
row.
Councilman, can I for a minute? Steve?
Go ahead.
My whole question is, why do we have to have another night? Why can't we come in here at 5 o'clock on Mondays when we're all here, to bring staff in here again on a Thursday? They're here a couple times a week. I mean, I like the Monday, and I can come in here at 5 or 4:30 or whatever the case may be. I mean, I don't understand why we have to go to Thursday. Why can't we do it on Monday? We're here, and we just do it. I mean, that's my.
Are we planning on
My
having
thought.
long meetings? If they last the same amount, I agree with that. Why don't you have them say night, just start earlier?
Let's just start at
Or
5
if you guys
o'clock
want to
on
start
Monday.
earlier, that's fine.
It might be a little longer. I mean, that's what we're assuming is they might, again, because we're gonna have to start. There's getting to the meat and potatoes of doing some things, so it might go a little bit longer. But
And if I can just weigh in just for a second, here's the issue, and if we can all commit to it, if we're having a CRA meeting at 5:30 and then we're going to a council meeting at 6:30, I tend to lose everybody by 7 o'clock. So we're gonna, that I'm just saying. I mean, we need to
Go to bed earlier.
got to go to bed earlier on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Earlier than the 9 o'clock hour to go to bed on Sunday?
Well, I think if we're going to do it your way, we're going to have to make sure you're tucked in at 7:30, but yes.
Are you guys okay with?
I don't have a problem with it, I just...
5 o'clock?
5
5
o'clock.
o'clock?
5 on Monday.
There's
Monday
more than
night
enough
5,
time.
does that work for you?
I can make it work. If I'm not here, you start without me.
We'll do all the good stuff.
I've got no
before you
opinion,
leave.
so I'm letting y'all go, but,
John, can
so
you
it
make
seems
Monday at 5?
Monday at 5?
Yes, sir.
Done.
So I think Monday at 5, I need the resolution. Go ahead. I'm going to,
Which Monday at 5?
First
First
council
Monday.
meeting Monday at 5.
first
Okay.
Monday at 5, first Monday of the month at 5 p.m.
Right. One other item to consider, would you like to increase the frequency of the meetings to every other month?
Yes,
Yes,
Okay.
I think that was
That's
okay.
fine.
and we'll see how it goes. We could always cut them back.
So we're going to change the resolution to be the first Monday of the month, starting at 5 o'clock,
Or the first council meeting, because the first council meeting isn't over.
or the first council meeting, to align with the first council meeting of the month
5 p.m. every other month.
and every other month.
Starting Wednesday.
So do you accept that as you're the,
On
you
the motion?
made the motioner?
Sounds good to me.
Seconder? Yes. Okay.
So the first one's Halloween now?
First one's, yeah, exactly. No, it's the 7th. I think we have a meeting the 7th. Is that when our meeting is?
Is that good for you guys?
Yeah, they were good with it.
Probably works better for them.
I believe so.
Well, oh, no, I'll keep my comment to myself.
So-
Thank you, Joe.
All in favor of the amended hours for the Resolution 106-16 for the first Monday of the month at 5 o'clock to coincide with the first meeting, council meeting of the month, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes.
Very good.
Number 5.
Number 5, next item on the agenda is the Downtown Redevelopment Plan update. Whoop. Go back here. This is a request for the CRA Governing Board to provide direction regarding an update of the Downtown Redevelopment Plan. At the June 6th Governing Board meeting, it was discussed with regards to a Downtown Master Plan update and a CRA Plan update. At that time, the city was seeking a DEO grant to fund activities for a Downtown Master Plan update. The CRA Governing Board members were supportive of the update of the Downtown Master Plan and the CRA Plan, but asked, since the areas are almost the same, can we do one planning activity and update both of the plans? Subsequent to the June 6th meeting, there were two significant findings. One was that the DEO grants were announced and that Oviedo did not receive the requested funding for the Downtown Master Plan. Second, a review of the applicable Florida statutes for the activities associated with the CRA Master Plan showed that the requirements for the Downtown Master Plan and a CRA Master Plan update are almost identical. So with those two items being stated, I'd like to go through a short presentation to outline the need for a CRA Plan update and the ability for a Downtown Master Plan update to occur simultaneously. The Downtown Master Plan was updated in 2000, or was created in 2003, and the CRA Plan in 2010. Significant changes have occurred. The city has achieved significant accomplishments and development objectives. The CRA is healthy in generating TIF. The opportunity now is to guide downtown development. Next slide. So Oviedo then and now. The population is growing. Oviedo is still a preferred residential destination for young families, and there's been significant development projects that have occurred since the master plan was created and since the CRA plan was created. Those being the Oviedo on the Park development being underway and growing, and the hospital, the Oviedo Medical Complex, including the hospital, the bed tower, and 3 medical office buildings currently under construction. There's also fundamental change on the horizon. County Road 419 and State Road 426 expansion is going to fundamentally change and shape the character of the downtown. We're going to have a 2- to 4-lane expansion, altering Broadway Street and Central Avenue. The design of the roadway is going to determine the character of the downtown. Right-of-way acquisition is underway, but without a coordinated plan, the design of the roadway is going to dictate the character of your downtown. So the question is, are you going to have a downtown, or are you going to have a highway through what was your downtown? And to talk about some of the State Road 426 and 419 design criteria or design issues, I have Mr. Jay Hood, one of our designers from Little John, here to talk to you. You're welcome.
And if I just may for a second, John,
Yes,
I
sir.
think that last statement was a little bit harsh.
Yes.
Because the master plan has never envisioned a highway through the downtown. So let's not give folks the impression that
Understood.
that's where city staff is headed or the city council is headed, because nothing is further from the truth.
Understood. That was a mischaracterization on my part.
Thank you.
All right. As you look at the graphic in front of you, these are the two typical sections that are going to be happening along Broadway as it goes through the downtown area. The one on the left is one that just has a simple kind of 4-lane with a median that's going to allow for expansion for turn lanes. And the one on the right is the similar section, but also has a wider 8-foot sidewalk, and that happens as you get closer to the downtown area. One of the things that's happened when this comes in, as you know, it's really kind of changing. It is going to change the character of that area just from the standpoint that the right-of-way take is going to take out a lot of the existing buildings. So the question is, how do we take this road, which we look at the roadways as really kind of being the framework, the bones of what is going to happen in the downtown. How do those other uses, the new uses, the redevelopment that comes into it, how do they relate to this? And how can we make this a special, unique destination? In terms of the status, the first phase, it's a phased project just because of the cost of it can't be a single phase project. But the first phase is going to be that intersection. That's the intersection at 434 and 419. Oh, sorry about that. So the first phase is the intersection improvement itself. This improvement, it's really about capacity on that road, but also capacity to make the turns. From a completion of the design, the intersection design that we've got right now, it's pretty well done. The phase 2 design, which is the extension of those roads, it's 90% complete right now. So there's no funding for construction at this point in time. So one of the thoughts is that as we are getting ready to embark on the plan, we need to look at the road, look at the integration of that road into the plan. And again, I think this is one of the big fundamental pieces that we've got to deal with in the plan. This is the detail you can see of the main intersection. The things that we are looking at in particular are the scale, the character of the road. Also, the safety is going to be key from a vehicular standpoint, but also from a pedestrian standpoint as well. And then, of course, comfort. And again, the character is going to be one of the things that's going to be very, has to be designed into this roadway and also the land uses that are coming up to it. This is a blow-up of the typical section. And again, what you can see is we've got 4 lanes of travel, and then we've got bike lanes on the road, and then the 8-foot sidewalks on either side. So we've got a little wider sidewalk on these. The right-of-way varies because of some of the takings. The properties are different, so it's not a consistent right-of-way. And again, you've got a 20-foot or a 22-foot median, and that allows to do dual turn lanes in that area. Couple things. Could you go back to that one, John? One of the things that we think about a lot when we think about a downtown area is how do cars move on that, but then how do the buildings relate to that? And one of the things that happens in a lot of the downtowns, the quintessential design downtowns that you think about, are really how does the parallel parking work? Is there parallel parking? None is shown on this section. But one of the thoughts we had, is there a way to bring that back? We've worked before with DOTs and looking at the design plans of the roads. And again, we think that there's some opportunities in this section to help kind of put a new definition to this roadway without doing major changes to it that we think that could help make this a special place. So this is the cross section that we're we're proposing, and there's a difference between the previous one and the new one. This is at the intersection, so you've got the dual turn lanes. The dual turn lanes would be the same in either of them. But one of the things that we've done on this proposed section is to take the bike lanes off the outside. So we've done that for a couple of reasons.
Where'd you put them?
Well, in red, if you look at the red line, that red pathway, that's going to be an off-road bike trail. So we would take the two bike lanes and we would combine those into an off-road trail or an off-street trail. This was done in Indianapolis. They've done a cultural trail, which has really provided a lot of economic development. When you look at Oviedo, it's about families. The trails are very, very popular. How do you safely get people from those trails into the downtown core? And this is one of the things, it's a newer movement that's been happening more and more lately. Again, Indianapolis is a great example of how it's been used. There are places in Orlando that are looking at this as well. And one of the other areas we've got a shot of later is Winter Garden, downtown Winter Garden, how they've...
John?
Yes,
We are going to have to 6:30, so
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. So anyway, that's where we put the bike lanes, is on the side. Go ahead.
And that's really nice, but all the areas you just described are not FDOT controlled roads, and FDOT has flat out said that bike lanes have to go in the right of way. So I mean, if you can pull something like that off, God bless you, but
Okay, well, and
not one area you described where they're doing this is FDOT controlled. So yes, the city can do it on Mitchell Hammock Road, but this is an FDOT controlled roadway with federal funding that requires certain requirements.
right. It just, for instance, and I know Noran Downs is just...
But we got to move along.
Yeah,
I made
okay.
my point. You continue to make it.
So again, this is the picture.
We're in the weeds. We need to come back higher.
Yeah, this is the picture that we've got today. This is what we see. And go ahead, and this is kind of the vision of what we think this area could be. The other thing that you'll notice on this, when we take the bike lanes away, it actually allows for parallel parking during the off-peak hours of operation. So the businesses along that front could also have the parallel parking in front of them.
Wait, you're going to take a lane of traffic and convert it into parallel parking?
In off-peak hours. A lot of this improvement is about the capacity at peak hours. That's when you have all the problem.
And you've done this in the state of Florida.
Sure.
Well, let's go ahead and go to the next one. This is Las Olas Boulevard.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
in the interest of time, can we get to what the request is?
Yeah, I was going to say,
See
we're getting weeds.
see what the body's
yeah.
thoughts are and
certainly.
move on to the next item?
Certainly. What this is a request for is a request for direction from the board with regards to proceeding with a downtown master plan and CRA plan updates simultaneously in order to provide a community-based vision for the redevelopment of downtown Oviedo.
You need direction, motion,
Yes, sir.
consensus? What are you looking for?
What we're looking for is direction to proceed with this item and prepare a scope for y'all to review and a budget for y'all to review.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at your budget in here, John,
Yes, sir.
and I don't disagree that the CRA plan needs to be updated. I do not disagree. This board has, well, not this particular board, but council has talked about updating the citywide vision.
Yes, sir.
Waiting for the 2 open seats to be filled
Yes, sir.
before we move forward with it. And I can tell you the scope of services, the prices that we were receiving were less than $149 for the whole city. So, I mean, in my mind, I don't mind if you go through it and you do it and you put something together, but if that's the kind of money you're going to be looking at,
Yes, sir.
there's others who put in bids and we've got it all.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I mean, it needs, in my opinion, yes, you're on the right track. Yes, it needs to be done. Now, to you, obviously you haven't looked at the Dix Lathrop plan for 419, 426 yet. Obviously you haven't looked at Harlan Hansen's plan for 419 and 426 yet. Obviously, you may or may not have read the downtown master plan, which envisions exactly what you do, exactly what you just showed us. You said there's no funding for construction. It's number 3 on Metro Plan. The only reason why it hasn't been funded is the design's not done with it yet. And I already talked to you about the trail. So I liked your presentation. I liked what you were doing, but let's not leave out a lot of the facts. There's folks in the audience here listening who are candidates who are now going to go out and blah, 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 blah with the wrong information. Let's make sure they have the right information.
All right. My apologies. And the point, just one last point, is the fact that it's not too late to have some of those discussions. I know that there have been a lot of discussions. The whole bike regulation has changed. The mindset at DOT is different today than it has been in the last 2 years.
Awesome.
So I think there's an opportunity to visit again. Thank you.
I'm all about it.
You brought up the vision. Would it be, I'm going to say, if we're making the bigger vision picture, I'll say either intertwine this with the vision
That's what
next
I'm
year.
thinking. It should be a citywide.
Well, that's what I'm going to say. If we're doing a citywide vision, which we are, I think this should be linked in as part of it, as part of the citywide vision, and part of that process will be a CRA area. I mean, again, it's all intertwined. It just, I don't want to say who pays the bills, but who's going to take care of things versus it's one big vision.
And if this needs to take priority because of timing,
Right.
that's
Certain
completely,
aspects.
that's completely understandable. But to start one visioning exercise without tying it into the whole entire city and making a big roadmap
Right.
like we did 15 years ago,
Hold on.
that makes sense.
Tim.
All right.
Thank you, Jay.
Jill, you're
I agree.
putting it all as part of the big vision picture.
Yeah, you need to sharpen the pencil also.
Mr. Dave? Axel?
In June, we said, let's not talk about the CRA plan for 6 months, and I would stick to that. As far as this bigger scope, my own personal view is let's find some ways to use this CRA money for physical things that'll help some economic development. That might not be everyone else's thought, but the idea of spending all this money on consulting fees when it's a huge chunk of our budget just bothers me, so I want to kind of put this off.
Mr. Britton?
Pretty much ditto everything the mayor said, Mr. Slattery.
Mr. Hankins?
Mr.
Oh,
Axel.
sorry.
Like herding cats.
I'm just trying to get this movie.
Yeah.
We got one more thing.
Oh, yeah,
as
we're
well.
out of time. But, yeah, I ditto that, and I was a little concerned with the mayor hit it on the head. I was going to speak up on
Some
that
points.
also.
Mr. Hankins?
I'm just going to forego the comments because we have no time. We have another item. But I kind of agree with what Dave just said. Just real quick, we got to take care of some of the infrastructure, the things that people see that are there before we get new stuff built. Fix some roads, fix some lights, some facade grants, things. So put this all.
Make it, if there's stuff that needs to come before council that relates to the road, I think it should hit there first. And then if it, in reality, same kind of thing, but it probably is really, if there's stuff that's imminent, it's probably a council level. So it'd probably come there first, and then if it's us as a CRA board paying for it or doing different things, then that can come down. But I think that part of it, the urgency of anything that needs road wide right now, probably has to hit council before us. And I agree wholeheartedly with putting it off till the visionings or encompassing as a visioning. So it seems we're going to put it into the encompassing and the visioning as part of that next year.
Understood.
Parking structure.
Whoa. Okay, let's not, and Brian, I don't care about 6:30, okay? The budget hearing will start whenever the budget hearing starts. Wait a second. So we got 3-3 here, and we're going nowhere, it seems.
No, we don't.
Okay.
We had full.
Okay, full support to do visioning, or at least put something together that
To
we
push
can-
this, to put this
Okay.
together as part of the vision.
All right.
Yeah, not to do it now.
Okay. Because if we don't...
I think Mr. Axel was the only one who expressed, that he'd like to see it as more hardscape versus, but everybody was,
Oh, okay.
it's a visioning
All right.
issue.
I misunderstood.
No. Yeah, this is going down towards visioning. It should be
We
encompassed.
got to make a roadmap. We don't have we have an old
That's exactly
roadmap.
it. No.
We need a new roadmap.
100%. We had
Okay.
that, No, that was,
All right, before we,
Very
I don't mind fixing lights and stuff, but
No.
we need the roadmap.
Right, we got you.
All right.
Yep.
Sorry, guys.
it's okay. Item 6,
Item 6 on the agenda
agenda item 4, it says, but.
is a request for the CRA Governing Board to provide direction regarding a parking structure feasibility study. Oviedo on the Park developer, PAC Land Development, has requested that the Oviedo CRA consider authorizing the initiation of a feasibility study to examine the potential development associated and associated costs of a parking structure within the Oviedo Park on the park development. Based upon the discussion with PAC Land Development and the City Manager's Office, the scope of services for a parking structure feasibility study has been developed. The feasibility study will have 4 components: discovery, a site analysis, project cost, and a summary report and presentation. The proposed budget for this study is $32,103. The CRA Governing Board has not allocated funds in the fiscal year 2016-2017 budget for this item.
What do you want?
We're looking direction. Board members.
The direction sought this evening is whether or not to proceed with the development of a scope and the resolution to implement or to initiate the performance of a parking structure feasibility study.
Mr. Members,
I can make this real simple.
go ahead.
If the developer wants to pay for the study, let the developer pay for the study and bring it to us, and we'll consider it.
Very good.
That's fair.
I couldn't have said it any better. That's not for
I was
us.
just going to ask how we're going to pay for it.
Well, how did this get on the agenda?
It was requested by PAC to have it placed on the agenda and had discussion with Brian. Brian said, place it on the agenda.
Okay.
Well, it's no secret that the Oviedo on the Park was envisioned and designed with parking structures. I mean, that goes without saying, but, the original plan and the original downtown master plan had them built into it already, and the developer has taken a slightly different tack and is now realizing that they are necessary, which is fine. That's completely understandable. They are necessary. But, if the developer wants to pay for the study, then I'd be all for it.
Understood?
So this side's all for? Tim? All for the developer?
Paying for it, yes.
Mr. Axel?
Yes. Anybody else?
Okay.
Not
I
the
think-
CRA budget at this
I
time.
think it's pretty well unanimous that we're not interested in looking at the study.
Very good.
Well, I think and again now, the study comes back and the study shows that there
That's
is a public purpose.
Then we'll look at the needs
Then
and what...
we can look at funding it from the CRA. That's
And
what the CRA is
if the
for.
CRA, right. What level the CRA might be, needed to help fund that, but that's another whole question. Anything else, John? Hold on a second. Anything else, John, from you?
No, sir.
Mr. Chairman, just real briefly, could we consider, I had asked Brian that we all be on the same page here with Sire and everything. We see Mr. Axel and Mr. Slattery have the wrong equipment. Could we have some consensus to get them some iPads?
I would hold off getting, I would say consensus on getting something because we have, we may be looking at other,
Upgrades?
yes, other things that may have a play in what equipment things, not maybe in the near future, but, not in 3 months, but maybe in a year, less than
Well,
a year.
just so they don't have to print out and get all this stuff, at the very least have that. And Brian, I do know you're looking at some upgrades because some of these iPads don't open stuff, but they need to be on the same stuff as we have, and
Well, so does LPA.
and I'm just saying, so does the LPA. We
Well,
all
I
got to
think
be on the
that's
same system.
we can talk to that at the next level.
The new website company has
Exactly.
some sort of an agenda software
There's-
package that could be more cloud.
They're built in, so there may be, if we, again, don't know that we're going to use it, but that's
Right.
next discussion, we
All
can
right,
do
well,
that
it's in the
there.
mix.
So, but it's something that, again, I don't disagree that they can have, that there's a need for some equipment,
Is
but
that working for you for this one?
I would prefer software. I already have an iPad. I
Right.
don't care to carry around two.
I have an iPad and a laptop, so if there's an app or software,
right.
that
We can
solution
get
works for
them,
me.
we can set them up with.
Brian, there you go.
Set us up
Yeah.
for wireless to work here, and
Yeah.
and we're golden.
All right,
You can
Brian.
download, we can get you the agenda.
Well, that they may be able
Yeah, that's easy.
There you go.
to get the app on that point.
Did that
Yeah.
work for you guys tonight?
Yes,
You able to
that's all,
get-
that'll work.
Okay.
Nothing for you, John? We're all done?
We are all done, sir.
Next meeting will be November 7th?
No.
November 7th, 5 PM.
Very good.
Any business from anybody else up on that? That being it, the CRA meeting is closed.
Very good.
All right.